starting all the way from up north, from La Cabrera towards the Paraiso. And as you were, or as you want to see these teams just, drop clashing against each other. I personally feel like it's going to be quite tough because the plain flat path is quite a good one. So teams are not going to have problem traversing to their own designated drop spots. So it's going to be really hard to speculate any sort of drop clashes, but the circle is something that's going to be worth keeping our eye on.
That's a comfortable one. Looking at TSM, they are in the center. They are exactly in the center for now. But at the same bit of time, one thing is to be in the center when you've got all of your loot and everything done and dusted, right? Then you're just waiting, and you're just waiting to bounce on to your opponents. But when the game is just starting things off, that's probably not going to help out TSM much for now. But hey, never mind that. As we move away from that team towards the side of Blind Esports, we've got Zadi and the likes as they try and get their own loot segregated with those UMPs all across the board. Shadow also moving along with one.
I mean, Shadow over here on our screens, and it seems like he's just run around for now. I mean, it's the starting phase of the game, and you are not going to be seeing a lot much happen. Most of the players, they're just looting up, setting themselves up for the better spots in the future lines of the game. You want to make sure you have enough amount of medkits. You want to make sure you have enough amount of first aids, enough amount of boosters as well to boost yourself up. And not just that, utilities is something that plays a huge factor in the game too. So you want to make sure you're looking pretty comfortable for the late game scenario.
Exactly, and that becomes critical as well, right? I mean, especially the utility usage and having enough amount of utilities synergistically spread out amongst your teammates, and that way you can absolutely look forward to a cover smoke or an aggressive nade or a Molotov being utilized as you're making a push into a new compound or an area. So all of that is also going to be based on the communication and the synergy with which the team is going to be playing. That is, synergy basically is the communication within the team as to how clear and well concrete the thought is, and of course the entire fight is going to be based around that clear-cut communication. As of now, as we move away to the biggest city in the area or in the map of Miramar, we're looking at two teams, Insane, right close next to our esports for now.
Our esports, yeah. Los Leones is a big city in the map of Miramar, so at least 2 or 3 teams can loot without even crossing each other's eyes, or without even crossing each other's territories. Big city means a lot of houses and a lot of loot. So teams, they should not fight against each other in this one, because you will also want to make sure you're being in your safer side of the city, and you also want to make sure that there's going to be none of the players out there that is being a little sneaky and aggressive onto you. But as I said, Los Leones is a huge city. For that to happen, the chances are quite rare, because even the enemy teams, they don't really want to go for early battles right off the bat.
Oh, I'm loving Blind and the way they're able to set themselves up. In the previous game also, I noticed the way they got themselves across a compound. They had themselves spread across. They had a few of those players coming in through the center, and one of those players is going to be creating that flank angle, coming in from the rear, coming in from the side of the position of their opponent team. That definitely is a really well-versed play that the side of this team loves to be able to create those sort of openings from. But as of now, that is not going to result in anything, as the teams still just early into the map itself are still busy getting their loot sorted. And once that is all done and dusted, that is when the fights are going to start commencing, which would roughly be about 12-minute marker for now, as we move away from the side of or go back to the side of Blind Esports. We can see Deadpool is the dude, is the man who is always waiting and keeping a close, keen eye and covering his teammates, as he has the mini in his hand. Of course, he is the best man to be able to put up to the task, to be able to provide that sort of a cover, provide information. But does he know? Little does he know. Perhaps that rivalry Esports is right around, and Slayer getting some perfect shots, or trying to at least with an M4. Not going to be working out too well for him, because his information now has been given away.
Yeah, the shot's not really connecting, not really able to find any sort of knockouts yet, but was able to take out the player quite low. Rivalry Esports, they're going to decide to back out from that one. Skylights Gaming, another solid team. Skylights Gaming, man, things haven't really been looking that great for them since the past couple of days or past couple of months. Scarlet's Gaming, the performance has been on a downhill, and something needs to be figured out. What exactly is going wrong with Scarlet's Gaming? Maybe these players will need to put up a show in this one to make sure all the fingers that are being raised on them up till now that are just being shut down. Because Scarlet's Gaming, they're one of the teams that were one of the best in the entire BGMI scene, and then later on, they just started falling apart, Plotter.
Well, again, you so perfectly mentioned, they have the opportunity right here through the Master Series to be able to showcase the domination that they were supposed to be a part of. And indeed, this is going to be the launch week, in fact, I'd say, is going to be the perfect place that they can utilize to be able to, showcase that sort of an aggressive play that was known from the side of Skyline Gaming, of course. But for now, as we move away from that side, towards FS Esports also looking pretty comfortable in their rotation. Along with that, we are going to be...
Now feast on a fire feed. Order a winner dinner from Swiggy.
Oh, without a doubt, man. Plotter again. Hyderabad Hydras is one of those teams that cannot really be ignored as well in this entire competition, right? I mean, Hyderabad Hydras coming in with a lot of dreams. They have had a LAN experience, though. That's something that might just help them out quite a lot and also give them a huge edge over the other teams. Now, keep this in mind, ladies and gentlemen. Group A and B, both these teams were there when the previous LAN event happened. So both these teams, they're used to the LAN environment. But Group C, they were not here when the previous LAN tournament happened. So Group C, they're going to be lacking quite a lot of things, and there might just as well be quite a lot of rusty nerves that still need to be shaken away, because LAN feeling is something that is really unique from like just a normal online tournament.
Oh yeah, definitely. It is just to describe it to the viewers as well and explain a little bit more. Never correct me if I'm wrong, but when you're sitting at your home or you're sitting in the organization and playing, it is a different experience. But when you're at the venue, your opponent right in front of you, yeah, that.
Introducing the new Hyundai Venue.
But see, that's exactly what it is. You got to be able to live that life when you're at the venue to be able to showcase that dominance, and for that, of course, you have the opportunity right here through the Master Series.
Exactly, the opportunity is here. All you need to do is strike the hammer and grab the opportunity.
That's all nine.
Well, there can only be that one team who can be the winner of this entire Master Series, of this entire saga. And the grand finals are waiting for the top 16 team in this entire Master Series that are going to be able to qualify from the weekdays. But we do have the next circle shift on our screens, ladies and gentlemen. Not going to be something complicating, just going to be centering on up, but also going to be covering the majority of the landmass as well. So that these teams, they're not going to have that much amount of problems just yet. Find themselves a safe footing. So we might not see a lot of action happening, but we did see a huge wave of vehicles moving inside the next zone.
Absolutely, that's what I was noticing as well. From the northern side, we had Global Esports making a rotation. On the other eastern front, we had another team. But for now, as we move away from any of those speculatory rotations, we've got Team God, like Jonathan, taking on some sprays and shots against his opponent. For now, was not able to connect, was not able to give any damage whatsoever. But at the same time, definitely did give away his information. And now he's on the hunt, he's on the move with his Mirado out in the open, trying to find that player that he was able to scout and spot out. That was going to be from the side of Hyderabad Hydras, if I'm not mistaken. And yep, there we go. Maxi OP. Best be careful in the map, viewers. We can see that he's all by his lonesome. The grey dot is all by his lonesome, and his teammates are far, far away. Oh, well, never mind. Of course, he's got a buddy of his own. But wait, oh, wait. Jonathan. That could have been it.
Yeah, that could have been really close. That was so close. That could have been something that
देखिए कि तुम्हें कोई बोल दे तो किसी को ये जिगर वाला कोई
fire match. Now feast on a fire feed. Order a winner dinner from Swiggy.
Not like they're just firing a lot of shots in the front. This time it's going to be insane. Adi, unfortunately, the buggy just slipped away. The tire was blown out too. So Adi almost got caught out of guard, but still he was able to escape because that was quite a huge distance. And ladies and gentlemen, for the people that are new here, controlling a weapon's recoil in that sort of a range with having a 4x scope on your gun, it's not an easy task.
Not at all. Oh, not at all. Of course, as soon as you take one shot, you know the gun's going off, and you've got no control over that vertical displacement of that weapon, and that is something that is considered as recoil. Now, right now, these are some experienced, some of the best experienced players in the country, and so you know for a fact that they make it look easy, but it definitely is not that easy. With that, TSM's Equinox was up on top of that mountain, quite a climb. Was able to get a lot of information, I believe, but now I think it's time for him to get out of there. It's time for him to move, as we have the likes of Godlike, I believe. Yep, there we go. We've got Godlike trying to get onto the same exact mountain, and as they climb from one side on the other, is TSM getting out.
Godlike, Godlike currently having a really great hill for themselves. Just moving around, spotting any sort of movement if they can, and as they do, they're probably trying to unload their magazines on that side. Godlike, not a lot of movement, but they might just see this vehicle of Equinox. Equinox, you better not just move out in the open, because if you do, Godlikes, they're like hawks on top of the mountain.
Godlike's waiting, that's for sure. They're definitely waiting. But look at Global Esports' nerves of rotation. Finally, even though they did spread themselves out quite thin, the rotation has been completed, as we do have Joker finding a safety net in the compound and in the zone, as well as his teammates are going to be following him. Along with that, AJ in the back line slowly going to be grooving across through the edge of that northern zone. But he best be careful, because right around the vicinity we also had HH, that's going to be Hyderabad Hydras, making a rotation from the northwestern side of that zone in the color grey. So if AJ is not careful, he might actually bait out the players of HH.
Airdrop 2 is on the board as well, ladies and gentlemen. As we do see Kevin Esports Robin, the bolt action sniper, taking little shots in the front on the moving vehicles. It's quite tough to land bullets, but it's quite tough to land shots on moving vehicles, especially with a bolt action sniper rifle. It's a Car 98. Robin realizes he's not able to find any sort of success, so he's going to back out, but talking a little, or shedding some light a little on the care package too, ladies and gentlemen. Care packages include special type of weapon that cannot be found on the ground, or that cannot be found in the regular loot. You will need to go for the special air packages or special care packages, and that can help you get, or that can help you set up for the succession. That can give you some guns that are pretty good for the battlefield, and that can help you survive, and that can help you take your enemies down pretty easily. It also contains off level 3 gear that can help you as well, with level 3 helmet, which can help you a lot with that damage reduction of the bullets, and level 3 vest that can help you with a lot as well with that damage reduction. So you want to make sure you're also having that level 3 gear onto yourself, just to survive, or just to instill, just to take a little bit of more bullets onto yourself, even if you do get caught in some tricky situations.
Rivalry was right there. Smoker was trying to climb up on top. As soon as he saw the rotation coming from the side of this team, and there you go. You've got the team of Kevin not wanting to stop down, but what? No Wolfgang holding on the cause with the AKM. Justin coming in from the back from Kevin Esports, trying their level best, and then doing so. That is it. That is all it took. That is all it's going to take for Kevin Esports to be able to dominate. And with just one man lost to the cause, Kevin Esports have eliminated the first team from this lobby, with 4 finishes confirmed for the side of Kevin Esports.
But Blotter, the MVP of the previous game, is being taken out. Delta is not in the game anymore. A big hand behind Kevin's succession in the previous game. Delta is not going to be found in the game anymore because he got taken out. But look at the shots that Destro was taken from that far away. Some precise laser beams coming out from that man with that Scar L and a 4X. Really tough to control in that range. But he just makes it look so easy. That's why they're the pros. We're over here, rookies. But on the other hand, Blind Esports, though, it's going to be tossed in. Might just crawl quite close, but not a lot to find from that one. Blind Esports, they realize there's a huge threat on top of their heads, but they don't know how to deal with it.
Absolutely, and that threat is going to be named none other than OR Esports as of now, as we've got our Funky on our screens. He's got something menacing that he's thinking about, along with our Ruiz teammate right up top. And as we did just mention, Blind Esports, they're right down there. They are going to be be out in the compound, or rather in the safety layer of the compound, whereas well, OR, they're out in the open.
Ladies and gentlemen, make sure you're not really missing out on any sort of action. Make sure to scan that QR and tune in into the live action, and rewards as well are given away. So make sure to scan this little QR code. Make sure to tune in live on the action as well. And as I mentioned, little in-game rewards as well are given away, so you might as well not want to miss out on that free stuff. So we do have Godlike though. Ooh, a lot of shots taken out of themselves. Shadow OG could have almost been taken out, but wasn't able to get back to safety in the nick of time.
Well, perfect spray coming in from the side of course, Shadow right there, as he was able to deliver some massive punch to Jelly as he tried to make that rotation out of the open. Not entirely sure what Jelly was up to, but on the other front, OR, they seem to have decided, and they are going to be trying to get away from this position that they were in. And it seems like Shadow, even though out of in the open he was able to take on some shots, not for long as he made that rotation. He has been caught off by his opponents and Blind Esports. This is the moment they have been waiting for. OR try their level best to be able to make that push, but they have been stopped as Blind Esports come out of the shadows and take on some shots and confirm those into finishes.
Equinox behind that little ridge. Still don't exactly know how Godlike will try to play this one out. I mean, Godlike, without a doubt, they have a huge advantage. A lot of the circle has already moved away, and they're also being camped by a lot of teams now. TSM in the front lines, including Blind 2, that will try to help them up, or that will try to hold them off at bay. How are Godlike going to travel their downhill slope? Because when you are going to try to get down from that hill, you're going to be quite exposed and vulnerable.
Oh, they definitely are, and it looks like Blind Esports not looking too good. That Pool, the man of the hour, who was looking so confident and comfortable in terms of those flank angles that he was creating for the side of Blind, is not going to be enough to stand true for long as Godlike comes into action with that. TEF not looking good as Team Insane are out on the hunt.
So we do have Team Insane. She did mention they're out on the hunt, and they're also able to find the players as well. TEF currently on the receiving end, and they might just be eliminated soon too, but they still have the last glimmer of hope alive in the game. Same goes with OR2, with only that one last man alive. TSM Equinox. Destro just zooming past by, doesn't care about the world. At this point in time, the main goal for this man has to be to secure a safe spot, but that's not going to be so safe indeed, as the man's going to be taken out by one of the players from TSM, and it's going to be Equinox this time with the final nail in the coffin, as we do have Godlike sweeping the grounds up, moving in forward. Equinox is won't help him out a bit, but Equinox, he doesn't realize there's a threat moving in quite close, which is going to be the name of Godlike.
Well, Godlike definitely, Godlike along with TSM actually did stop the side of Blind Esports' rotation, and the blue zone caught up to them and was not allowed, they were just not allowed to get away from that area. But on the other front now, TSM, they best be careful, as was perfectly mentioned by Necro, that when it comes to their positioning, Godlike is also around the vicinity, as on the minimap you can see. But what a shot! Eggy with that mini in his hand.
Of course, it's Eggy. Of course, a lot of you forgot about the contact sniper rifle action.
I remember.
Yeah, Eggy is the man to watch when it comes to DMRs and sniper rifles, ladies and gentlemen, because this man is just so precise with his gunplay. This time missing a couple of shots, it's okay. Mistakes do happen in the battlefield. Not really hit every single one of those. Most of them are pretty tough to hit as well. And what? You blink it and you miss it. TSM, if they just put the entire team of Godlike in the place, they just took out the entire team easily. But ladies and gentlemen, Stan is India's first fan engagement and digital collectibles platform where you can meet and play with your favorite esports athletes and influencers.
Finally, what a platform that would allow you to do that. But along with that, it is going to be TSM's cause right now, as Blaze try to level with his teammate Equinox along with Wanted are holding on to try and take on OR's final player. But OR, that smallest sliver of HP on the man is not allowing him to stop. Aditya is the man, and for now it's going to be Equinox finally jumping in to get that threat eliminated. OR Esports get eliminated on that team spot. 8 teams remaining as of now. We've got a lot of colors on the minimap. We can see towards the western side of this zone. In the minimap to the top right, there are so many teams that are going to be third parties in a few minutes time, I believe.
Hitman tossing in some utilities, tossing in some grenades, hoping that maybe they will find a knockout. But not yet, overcooking them a bit. Hitman. Eyeing out the compounds, eyeing out the area around and making sure it's being as aware as possible. TSM though, they're in a crossfire. They're being spotted out by a lot of teams. Even Enigma and FS as well, some are down line and have a little bit of line of sight, but it seems like Enigma, they want TSM down no matter what. Equinox, the final man alive, but Enigma, they're just going to send it. They want the flood. They want the entire TSM down as soon as possible. Makes a lot of sense too, because if you do let TSM have that room to breathe, then TSM might just evolve into the giant monsters that you do not want to see in the lobby, and Enigma already taking care of that threat as quick as possible.
Oh, with that, Eggy gets blown down as well as we've got FS taking on some shots against that spray that was being showcased from Eddie. And of course, with that, FS Esports comes into the limelight as they take on the shots not only against the side of that Eggy's team, but also Global Esports. So for now, as we move away in with 5 teams, look at that zone, look at that mini map. It is moving away from all of these compounds, all of these safety nets that have been created by these teams. But not for long, as we can see, Clutch, he's already got that smoke wall created. He's baiting out some positioning ads and sprays coming in from the side of Global Esports. He knows exactly where that is, and same is the case coming in from the side of Enigma as well. But HH, Hyderabad Hydras, they're playing it cheeky. They're definitely playing it cheeky, and they have managed to get themselves into the safety net of the zone, at least the edge of the zone. So if they play their cards right, the game could very well be theirs, as all the other teams that find themselves in the safety of the compound are going to be out in the open, and that is when it's going to be open season picking.
Explicit from the side of FS. Enigma, they did look quite bloodthirsty, but now they've put themselves in such a tricky spot. It's going to be tough to retaliate from. But if you talk about that, Enigma, that's all that's going to be needed. As they do find the opening, and now maybe the goal call should be made. Enigma, the opening found, looking to capitalize on that. Ego closing up some distance, but unfortunately gets sniffed out by Explicit. He's quite well aware of what the enemy's trying to do. Explicit did not really fall for the bait. Instead, looked out for the enemies. Rex as well gets taken down. What is going on? FS, they're just putting a full stop to Enigma's journey in this game.
Explicit, he's been really very crucial in terms of the way FS has been able to rack those numbers up. He's got 3 elimination points all by his lonesome, along with 4 for the total finishes that are confirmed for the side of that team. But now HH, you better be able to hold on strong. They were just a few minutes ago taking on shots against the players of Global Esports. They were able to not only knock down one player, but eliminate Global Esports player as well. So now HH, they are going to have to hold on that position for as long as they possibly can, because right around the vicinity is going to be Global Esports, and up on top is going to be none other than Orangutan. So Orangutan also find themselves in a very wonderful position. If they play this right, this game could very well convert into their favor, because the King of the Hill situation is going to be there, but not before HH brings in a lot more damaging play against the players of Global Esports. Seems like GE is caught out in a sandwich situation.
Explicit just pros behind the rock. They'll take a lot of shots from the Overwatch off Orangutan all the way on the top. Explicit cannot really move out anymore. He will have to just take him to the blue zone, and finally decides to, but a lot of eyes just locked onto him. Orangutan, they aren't going to be able to just seal that elimination point in their pockets, as we have Hyderabad Hydra. Strike went down, but it's okay. Strikers, something that Hyderabad Hydras were not really able to save, but another man has been taken out, and Hyderabad Hydras, they cannot just keep on taking these casualties.
They definitely cannot. I mean, they've spread themselves thin. That was a pretty tricky position that they're in right now, and now with the numbers dwindling for their side, there is no way they're going to be able to get that rescue story going on for them front, and of course they're going to try their level best, but as soon as they do, Orangutan's Ash, he knows exactly what's cooking, he knows exactly where the side of that team is, but no utility is being utilized right now, and that is something that I'm missing. If only they would have had some Molotovs, and there you go, FS Clutch comes in to my cause as he brings in some utilities against the 4-man army of Orangutan. So yeah, this fight, it seems pretty much done and dusted for the side of Orangutan, but you cannot be that quick to reach the final result, because we've seen 1v4 clutches from these players as well.
Talk about a 1v4 clutch. FS. Clutch is going to be the only man up. FS is known to be one of the most aggressive teams in the entire lobby, but The aggression this time is not really working out, but there's still some of the top 3 teams. And that's a big thing. Being in top 3, you're already securing a lot of placement points. And those placement points might just help you boost yourself up quite a lot in those overall rankings. We do have Orangutan now against the player from Hyderabad Hydras. Now the player from FS is just making sure he's not really catching a lot of eyes. But finally, will need to step out as the wall of death is moving in from the back. Has no other option. Clutch trying to fight against the entire squad of Orangutan. Is giving it a tough one as well. And Breaker might just crumble down. He's taking a lot of shots. Eventually, it's going to be Clutch to take out another man of Orangutan. Orangutan, they're choking in this one. And they cannot really afford to choke like this.
From one side it was HH, from the other side it was Clutch. Always lonesome. FS Clutch was able to nail down 2 players, bring in 2 elimination points, and now he's still on the hunt with 2 teams remaining. FS Clutch right here. It's a 1v2 situation with the Molotov being utilized to perfection. Clutch, this could be his fight. This could be his war, and this is turned into winner. Swiggy didn't move away from the side of Clutch, of course, but that was a valiant effort. No two ways about it, of course, but congratulations to Orangutan. The numbers advantage worked in the favor. The way they positioned themselves on top of the hill, of course, the king of the hill situation worked out flawlessly for the side.
Without a doubt, it did work out so well. And Water in the end, unfortunately, it was really tough for FS to actually win that one too, because it was an uphill battle. Orangutan just doing it his style. Look at the glasses as well, the energy glasses. It looks so beautiful.
Absolutely, and that was so critical, but I do have to also put my hands together for the side of HH and then play. Hyderabad Hydras did not have a good start to the day, but this game, they definitely came back stronger. On the other front, of course, was Clutch. I mean, the more you talk about it, the more it's like he was a limelight player right there in the way he was able to get the information, the way he was able to retaliate against the positioning of Orangutan. That would have